Hello, boys and girls, it's circle time. So come sit down on your ladder and join us for circle time. Let's do the calendar and the months of the year song. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. These are the 12 months of the year. And we're on the 5th month, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is May is right, class, May. So we're on May. Oh, I forgot to take down the date from last week. All right, so the weekend happened, so we've missed a couple days. So we'll put up 3, but let's figure out what Saturday was first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And what comes after 16? 17 is right. Oh, my... And for today, what's after 17? 18. So today is May 18th. Okay, let's say it together. Today's date is May 18th, 2020. Let's see your 7 fingers. There are 7 days, there are 7 days, there are 7 days in a week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Today, we look at the calendar, it is Monday. So if today is Monday, yesterday was Sunday. And if yesterday was Sunday and today is Monday, tomorrow will be Tuesday. Good job. Who knows the season? The season, is it fall, winter, spring, or summer? It is spring. The weather today is partly sunny. And it will be warm. Be in the 80s. This week we're working on being honest. So repeat after me. Always tell the truth. Play fair. Be trustworthy. Keep your promise. Never take things that do not belong to you. And return things that you borrow. And that, if you do all those, you'll be being honest. This week we're working on ocean animals. These are some animals you can see in the ocean: crab, dolphin, stingray, clownfish, shark, octopus, whale, sea turtles. Now some of these ocean animals are mammals and some of them are sea creatures. If they breathe air, then they're a mammal, like the dolphin and the whale and the sea turtle. Now I got real pictures of all these animals you can see in the ocean. Angelfish, clownfish, coral sea snake, a crab, dolphin, a lionfish, a manta ray, an octopus, a seahorse, a pufferfish, a shark, a starfish, a sea turtle, and jellyfish. Now some of these you can see, like if you went to the ocean or to the beach, they'll come to the sand. So like a crab and a starfish and a jellyfish, maybe even a sea turtle if they were laying their eggs, you could see from the beach. But the rest of these animals live deep in the ocean, and you normally wouldn't see them unless you took a special ride, or you went to the aquarium, or you went scuba diving, but you guys are too young for that yet when you get older. So these are all things you could do with the ocean. So the story I picked today was My Visit to the Aquarium by Aliki. Today I went to the aquarium with my little sister and my big brother. The minute we walked in, I knew we'd have fun. The aquarium is full of fish, and they're all alive. Some of the fish and other aquatic creatures were born right here. Some were collected from the salty seas and fresh waters where they lived. Here in the aquarium, they swim in their own kind of water in their own natural setting. I found out how they live just by looking. We started at the tropical coral reef. It was like a sunny underwater garden, busy with bright little fish. The fish live, hide, and lay their eggs in the nooks and chambers of this porous, stony coral. Other creatures live on the reef too. We saw stiff lace sea fans, brittle sponges, soft coral, and flower-like sea anemones waving in the water. Though they look like plants, they are all animals. See, that's what they're talking about. These are all animals. We saw beautiful fish with funny names. Some fish were disguised by colorful camouflage. Other fish can't tell if they're coming or going, and neither could I. They were busy fish that never stopped working. Some poked around for food with their long noses. A parrotfish with its strong beak-like teeth broke off coral to find food inside. A blowfish puffed up for protection, and a jawfish buried themselves in the sands. We saw fish cleaning other fish. Clownfish live safely in the sea anemones, which would sting and eat any other fish. One dangerous character looked like a rock, but it can snap up an unsuspecting fish, and another has poisonous spine. In separate tanks, we saw seahorses that live in the coastal waters. A seahorse doesn't look or swim like a fish, but it is one. We saw jellyfish, delicate marine animals from the ocean sea. We saw crustaceans, crabs, and lobsters that live on rocky reefs. So does the octopus, which changes colors to hide itself. It is a mollusk, which has a soft body and no backbone. Down the hall, we saw penguins, those funny seabirds. My sister said they look like people waddling around in suits. Penguins don't fly, but they are speedy swimmers. We saw them chasing little fish, but they couldn't catch one. We passed anchovies, which like to swim close together. There were hundreds and hundreds of them packed in tight, moving in never-ending circle. Then we came to this giant kelp forest. It was 3 stories high and teeming with life. Here, fish lay their eggs and graze on tiny creatures that live in the kelp. Fish of all sizes swarm around the swaying kelp plant. High in the sunlight, schools of sardines move as one silver cloud. Below, bottomfish brush the sandy floor, and eels slide behind rocks. They share their cool space with crustaceans, mollusks, and starfish. It was feeding time. The smaller fish darted up for food, sprinkling from above. Just then, a diver swam in to feed the big ones from a bag of fish. Hungry mouths opened and snapped shut. I could see the shark's teeth. In the aquarium, fish are fed carefully and enough so they will not be tempted to eat each other. In nature, many fish eat other fish. Others eat tiny floating creatures called plankton. Bottomfish finds worms and crabs in the sand. Some bottomfish are scavengers. They eat what other fish drop. The diver finished, and he waved as he left. We ran upstairs to my brother's favorite hall. My sister grabbed my hand. The room was dark and full of sharks. This was the hall of cold, open sea, where fish have space to grow big. The sharks were huge, and there was all kinds. As they zoomed past, I almost forgot they were behind a thick window. There were other big fish, too. Some skimmed along the bottom, where flat flounders and skates were half buried in the sand. After that, we had fun at the tide pool. The tide pool creatures live among the rocks and seaweed along the seacoast, which tide rise and falls. They never need water to live, but many creatures survive out of it for a while. We held starfish, and I touched nearly everything except the crab. We tried to catch the bat ray, gliding like pancakes on their ocean-shallow pool. Rays, sharks, and skates are the only fish without bones in their bodies. They have soft cartilage skeleton. And this is what I was talking about, that you could see at the beach when the tide comes in. These are animals that you would see. After some lunch, we walked on. It was muggy in the tropical rainforest. A parrot squawked in the dense trees. Living things thrive in this hot and misty climate. In fact, half of all the world's wildlife species live in the rainforest. We saw tiny neon tetras, paca, and piranhas with razor-sharp teeth. We saw birds and lizards, snakes, turtles, and frogs. Next, we saw perch and catfish with whiskers and fish of all kinds that live in fresh water. They crowd lakes, rivers, swamps, and streams. Turtles and ocean reptiles share leafy habitats. A floating alligator peeked out of the murky waters. Reptiles need air and water to live. In the coastal stream exhibit, we saw fish that travel. They live in fresh and salt water and in semi-salted coastal streams that lead to the sea. Salmon and trout are marine creatures. Salmon live mostly in the sea and so do many trouts. But every year, these fish migrate to freshwater streams to lay their eggs. They have to swim hard against the current to get there. At the beach environment, seabirds race with the tide. Some jab their long beaks into the wet sand. They look for someone to eat along this shell-scattered shore. From an outside terrace, we could see the marine mammals that live in the bay. Friendly sea otters frolicked and floated as they fed on sea urchins, crabs, and clams. Beyond them, slippery seals flapped on the rocks. See the seals? Then came the biggest treat of all, the dolphin and beluga whales. What a rumpus they made. They leaped and dove, whistled and splashed, showing off their big new pool. Dolphins and belugas seem to smile, and their little teeth show when they do. Before we left, a beluga came close to say goodbye. What a great day it was. Think of it. We were in tide pools, coastal streams, coral reefs, deep sea, and splashing rivers, and we only got our hands wet. The end. Let's do our pledge to end. So remember, put your right hand up, cross it over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. See you next time.